So all of you are seeing what is going on in world energy order and what is happening in the Middle East, Israel and USA with Iran in the mix of things, and the bombardment we have been seeing over the past few weeks. Nigeria's economic reforms continue to generate intense debate, from rising transport costs and persistent hardship to the government's push for alternative energy solutions. At the center of one of those solutions is the federal government's ambitious plan to deploy 100,000 compressed natural gas conversion kits nationwide, part of a strategy to move Nigeria's transport sector away from petrol dependence and cushion citizens from global oil price shocks. But many Nigerians are asking tough questions. Can CNG really make transport cheaper? Is the infrastructure ready? And will the benefits reach the low-income earners who need relief the most? At the same time, global tensions in the Middle East is threatening another spike in energy prices, putting further pressure on fragile economies like Nigeria's. Tonight, we take a closer look at the policy, the politics, and the promises. Joining me tonight is the man who's met the president and gotten the directive of the president in the distribution of the 100,000 CNG kits. He's the chairman of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative and a former APC national youth leader, Mr. Ismaeel Ahmed, who is live for us here in our Abuja studio. Thanks so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me, Sean.
I appreciate it. And before I get into the PCNG matter, what benefit will it do your party to destabilize the opposition? Why does your party want a one-party state? And that's what the opposition is asking. They're bothered.
I don't think that is true. I don't think anyone can make... we run a constitutional democracy, right? And we are governed by laws and regulations that are, established under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I don't think there's any one political party or any one leader that can make him or herself or the political party make itself the sole candidate or destabilize. I think in a game of political competition, everyone uses what he has to get what he wants or what he or she wants. I think the question more is, how come the opposition does not have the mettle to be able to stay the ground the way President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did when he was in opposition? He is a fierce competitor electorally. Since during the heydays of military juntas, he joined the NADECO, led a coalition against the self-rule of and perpetuity of military governments. He joined the opposition party in 1998 in the AD, stayed in 2003 when the PDP came rushing to take over all the Southwest governors. He stayed his ground, maintained his stronghold in Lagos. From Lagos, he built all the way to the Southwest. And from the Southwest, he built AC. And from AC, it culminated and joined the merger and become APC. And he supported candidates, and now he's where he is. So I don't think, by the nature of his history, is the kind of person that would even want or even suggest that he would want a non-competition. I think the beauty of it is in competition.
Those who say it's in the action, it's in what is being said. And the opposition has never in this way been whittled down. I've never been this way weakened.
We have never had weaker opposition before. We have had people that have stayed their ground and built.
Does it make your party better? If you have weak opposition, in the face of weak opposition,
no. We would want a virile opposition, but we can't help them if they just keep capitulating.
But the handwriting the opposition say is all over the actions of your party. Your party just want to pull out the house down.
Why is it our fault? My surprise, let me tell you what my surprise is. My surprise, to be honest with you, is that I thought that with whatever it is that PDP was going through, that the coalition or, the ADC coming together would have been able to pick up the governance from ADC. When in 2013, we benefited from governors that moved away from the PDP, which was the ruling party at that time, that came to APC because they could see a structure, they could see a political party that could work.
To be coercing, to be threatening, to be dragging some of these governors to your side.
That's not true. Let them say them. So why would a governor who is elected by his people, who has constitutional immunity, be coerced and dragged? Why would he? Why would he capitulate, even if that's the case? Why would they? Why would they?
Does it make this government look good anyways?
It's not about the government. I think the government is focused. I think the government is focused on governance, Sheon.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
When governors are jumping from their parties and jumping because there is fire in the houses of the opposition and the only safe place is your party. And you've made your party a safe haven for everyone. Anyone who talks, anyone who does anything.
Sheon, you know me very well. You know I am not a fan of defectors in political parties. This political and democratic spirit in me does not appreciate defections. I see it as there's a certain way I feel about it.
Yet you feel your governor in your state.
No. Why wouldn't I? What I'm saying is that the more the merrier. Every time somebody comes to us, but we don't go out of our way looking for people to come just because they want to defect or want to weaken the opposition. I thought personally that the opposition was just unbelievably weak. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They couldn't take advantages of so many issues that the other. And you see, I think the mistake
and the
a lot of
weaknesses
people,
in your party's governance style. And the hardship in the land.
What weakness in our party? You just said our party is the safest one, and now you're saying
you are making it a safe haven. That's what I said.
No, we're not making anything a safe haven. Like ultimately, you know what? This decision is going to be done by the electorate. We're trying our best. We're trying to put our best foot forward. People see us for what they are. They come to our party. We welcome them because the political party is about numbers. We want the numbers. We like the numbers. And so be it. If the opposition has failed to, capitalize on whatever crisis is going in other political parties to be able to woo people to their own political party, then so be it. But we were in opposition in 2013, 2014. We had 5 governors walked away from a ruling political party to our own party. What did we do wrong? What did we do right then that this opposition party cannot do well? Simply because we had people who had the temerity and the understanding of how to run an opposition political party, put their structures right, and be able to push forward and push a narrative that Nigerians believe in.
The opposition have said that your party is just big for nothing, and it's going to collapse the way the PDP did in 2015 and lost the election. I think it doesn't matter what governors, how many governors you have.
People
the
always
belief is that
it's a campaign, it's an election season
against your party in 2027.
And so we are not Nigerians and we don't have Nigerians in our political party. We have Nigerians in our political party who believe in us. Do you say that, yes, naturally, if you're in government, there is more work for you to do in terms of convincing people because you are holding the reins of authority? Yes. And we intend to do that. We intend to go to the people. We're not taking anything for granted and we're not leaving any stone unturned.
Let me take you to your mandate, and congratulations. This is the very first time I will be talking to you as a chairman of PCNGI, and I think that...
it's PICNG.
PICNG.
And EV.
And it's now, there is now another dimension to it.
No, there's always been the EV part, but,
it's always silent.
The president updated the nomenclature recently, yes.
So it now includes...
PICNG and EV, yes.
Okay, so it's now...
It's just basically alternative fuel solutions.
Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations, like I said, it wasn't too long the last time you came on this program that you were announced. And I like to begin that there is an order directed by the president, 100,000 vehicles will receive CNG conversion kits nationwide. But realistically, when will Nigerians begin to see these at a scale that it's reasonable on the roads?
Well, first of all, I think you have to look at it from context, right? And the context is that prior to 2023, before the establishment of this initiative, there were basically less than 700 cars that are using, less than 7,000 cars that were using CNG, less than 7 conversion centers across the country. Probably less than 5 or 10 CNG stations across the country. Very few investors and private sector players believed in CNG. Fast forward to today, 2 or 3 years later, we have 120,000 cars or vehicles that have already been converted using CNG as we speak today. We have about 67 refueling stations, gas stations, that are operational about 117 different stages of development for CNG today. And if you look at all this, this is the fastest adoption rate, even if you compare it to countries like Iran or Brazil or even China when they were. So energy is a habit. Nigeria is a very large country with 220 million people and an estimated about 12 million vehicles. It's going to take time because gas infrastructure is a big deal. It's capital intensive. You need a lot of capital to go in. You need private sector players to see the incentive to go in. That is what we are doing here. So the problem we are facing in terms of infrastructure expansion is not a permanent limitation. It is an evolution, naturally, that we are going to get there. But right now, we are happy. The president has foresaw this. In 2023, he made a bold move. He said, look, we need alternative fuel to our transportation sector. And what he said to me, you know, in the beginning, when he was giving me this job last year, he said, look, we have 200 trillion cubic feet of proven natural gas. Why are we, and this natural gas has been proven by other countries and all over the world that there's technology where we can use it for transportation. It is 40% to 60% cheaper than petrol. It is cleaner than petrol, and we have it in abundance. Why are we not using it? Why are we subjecting ourselves to the vulnerabilities of global fluctuations of oil prices like what is happening right now? So this is where we are at PICNG and EV, and we are pushing this seriously to get to this point.
My worry is that what will make the larger impact if you compare the number of privately owned vehicles to the number of Nigerians who jump on public transportation, you will know that public transportation, impact on public transportation should be felt more. Yes, and the question is that
7% of vehicles are commercial vehicles.
Absolutely, the numbers say so. How many public transportation have you been able to roll out? Because the impact, I say, when are we going, this directive of the president, when are we going to start seeing them?
Well,
is it going to happen tomorrow, next week?
No, immediately. The deployment is immediate. We're deploying in the next 2-3 weeks, about a month we'll start.
How much will it cost a private citizen to get the conversion kits?
So what would happen, what we're trying to do is to facilitate through...
Or is it free?
No, hold on. It's not free, but it's not expensive. What we're trying to do is that we're trying to collaborate with stakeholders, you know,
is it affordable?
and absolutely affordable. In fact, it's absolutely painless. What we're planning to do, we're talking to stakeholder financial houses and other people to try and come together to be able to put it and facilitate the deployment in a way that it is as painless as possible. People pay through across a long period of time, and then they won't feel it as a result of it.
And this is not only for your party members. Like,
no, absolutely.
Like you always accuse your party of doing so, that your party is always pushing some of this initiative to your members.
Who said that?
And the opposition say that.
Well,
that some of this very good initiative that the government rolled out is only felt by your party members.
No, I can
you take it to your party houses, and that's where you
I can tell you for free that it is open for anybody who wants to convert this. Once we do it, the designated centers and designated conversion centers, we don't ask you for a party membership card.
Are we seeing it now?
Right now we have about 120,000 that have already been converted in the last 2 years.
I'm saying the 100,000 that the president.
No. Yes, we have the kits already in our warehouses.
When are they rolling
in
out?
Lagos, we are rolling out in the next 2-3 weeks.
In the next 2-3 weeks. But, I mean, that again is a problem. There are those who have criticized this government that the initiative is too little. One. Secondly, too sluggish. The impact of the oil price that we're seeing from the tension in the Middle East is immediate. Nigerians are already feeling the brunt that your party also brought in terms of your economic policy that has drained the little money in the pocket of the Nigerian and taken food away from the table. Now you're too sluggish to make this thing happen, such that it's taking you 2 weeks to be able to implement.
So you see, I think anybody that's saying that is being... Let me put it this way. Gas is a potentially $100 billion business. Investors need to come in. They need to see a clear line sight that you have built confidence for them. For that to happen, infrastructure is the key. What we are doing, what I am focused on, and what even the president told me when he saw me last week, was simple. Gas needs to be available. For it to be available, you need to put up infrastructure. This infrastructure is capital intensive.
But your party, I mean, you said this thing has been on the ground. Your president's done this over a year.
Well, hold on a minute. You are talking about conversion kits. We're talking about infrastructure for gas availability. It's a complete ecosystem. It's a complete ecosystem. I gave you
rollout for over a year. The president has.
But what I told you, we started at zero. Hold on. I told you we started at zero. Where are we now today? 120,000 cars converted, vehicles converted, the fastest adoption across the world. We started at zero. Where are we today? 57 refueling stations across the world. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, there are three LCNG stations in Kano, 5 daughter stations in Kano that we're using virtual pipeline to take it. And all the way the corridor from Lagos, all the way to the east, and all the way to Ajakuta and to the north. We are building infrastructures, painstakingly, and we are collaborating with private investors to be able to do that. It is a seismic, capital-intensive infrastructure layout that needs time to gestate and grow, and we are working on it. But what I'm saying is that I think you should be looking at the fact that this president has been able to make it such an important and signature project in his administration that a lot of people are even talking about it. CNG, nobody knew about it 4 or 5 years ago. Very few people knew about it. Today we are talking about moving hundreds of thousands of cars converted to CNG, and people, if you ask people who are supplying, even Keke Napep, for example, they will tell you that they sell 1,000 Keke Napep of CNG today much more than they sell of PMS alone. So which means people are having confidence in it, they are waiting for it, they know for a fact that gas is cheaper, and they are waiting for us to bring it to them. And that's what we are doing. So we are not starting, it's not as if we're starting from scratch, and we are growing, and the numbers are showing that we are growing. Yes, I understand the fact that Nigeria is a big country with 220 million people, 12 million cars. Some of these things in comparison might look as if it's small. But if you look at the context of where we are coming from in less than 3 years, and how much we have been able to put in, and how much confidence we have been able to boost for private investors who are bringing in their money. I have people coming into my office every day trying to see how they can come into this business of CNG and an electric vehicle. And that is how we are all, is about energy mix.
Mr. Ismaeel, I'm saying that the problem is immediate, and Nigerians want to see the impact now. Dangote refinery, NNPC refinery, they have announced hike in oil price. It's an immediate thing. And that those who are saying, we want to see it, they want to feel it now, now.
No.
Not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks.
No, you can't hoodwink me like that. And you can't hoodwink Nigerians like that, Sean. You know very well that any problem can be immediate, but any solution has to be procedural, in the sense that it has to be taken into consideration, it has to be process-based, it has to grow and evolve naturally so that there will be no pitfalls. That's what we're trying to do. So for us, it is safety, not speed.
Is the fund even available? Really, these days, your government hardly find money to do anything. You say you have you have revenue, yet you find it difficult to spend money. The irony is
liquidity.
You go around borrowing money,
I think
you talk about revenue, then you find it difficult to find. Do you even have funds?
Liquidity is a problem everywhere. But I think that for the funding that we need to be able to, the cap money that we need to be able to attract investment, is something we are talking with the financiers about. What I'm happy about is that there's a lot of interest and attention on alternative fuel all across the world. People are coming to us to see that how can we be able to invest in Nigeria, because they see the demand and they see the market. And I think it's for us, is thinking outside the box and focus on how much investors can bring in to be able to scale up. And like I said, the president said, to him, success means scaling up. Faster.
Even for the president, he said that what he wants to see is lower transportation costs.
Absolutely, that's his goal.
So, and I keep asking the question, and I'll ask it like a deaf and dumb person. When should Nigerians expect the real reduction in bus fares and logistic costs? That's the real deal. That is what they want to hear tonight.
Once we continue to progress the way we are progressing, with the numbers that we are churning out, and we have enough commercial drivers and logistics drivers, switch to CNG, hopefully we'll be able to see a heavy reduction. But for now, there are a lot of reduction, but people just don't transfer it to the end beneficiary.
There's a larger context, and you're one of those who always climb the podium and
preach. I'll soon be climbing the podium again.
And you're preaching about your party's agenda, and you've been doing it long enough.
Yes.
President Bola Tinubu has promised that reforms will lead to prosperity. But many Nigerians are saying the hardship has only worsened. Elections are coming. There's going to be a lot of stories that your party will be telling Nigerians. The policy and the reality are far apart. Some of the promises of this government
let me tell you something about...
are far
let me tell you
from
something.
reach.
Let me tell you something about this. I don't think this president deludes himself for any moment that the reforms are easy to swallow. I don't think he does. You know, I don't think when he came in, he has said to himself or to anybody around him that this is going to be painless or this is going to be quick, it's going to be a quick fix. No. I think he realizes that this is a huge task. He realizes that it's going to be a very painful reform for the short term. But he said for the survival of the country, just like for the survival of any ailing patient, the immediate discomfort would have to be felt. And I don't think he lied to himself or he lied to the country as a result of that. So, as much as you said you're going to ask this question 100 times, I'm going to answer you 100 times the same way. Reforms are painful. This country has been dislocated for far too long. To reallocate it or relocate it will need a lot of painful reforms and bold initiatives and bold moves. The president has taken that. Some of his lieutenants, some of us who have been given the responsibility to carry this out. Yeah, there might be one or two issues of liquidity and funding of here and there because there are a lot of issues that are competing for very scarce resources. But nevertheless, we are thinking outside the box. The president's thinking outside the box. He's telling us all of us should think outside the box. The goal is that this country must survive financially. This country must survive politically. This country must survive.
Mr. Ahmed,
can you allow me
just a moment? Because you don't have all day. Just the same way your party does not have all year. Because a lot of Nigerians are dying. You're promising to secure their lives. A lot of people are hungry and they are crying that your policy are too painful and too harsh for them to bear. A lot of them have been dipped into the poverty well and they're finding it difficult to stay afloat. And how do you explain to Nigerians who feel this government has underestimated human cost of its economic reforms? They made their life more miserable than it meant it.
I don't think we have.
And they say they will punish your party at the poll in 2027. They're waiting for you in the win.
You like talking about that, don't you?
That is what Nigerians are talking about.
No.
An election is where you punish politicians who lie to you or who do not perform, or are too lazy to deliver.
Thank God we didn't lie to anyone.
Well, you have not performed.
Who said that?
Have you
I'm just telling you that these reforms are turning around the corner, the economic corner of the country.
You promised Nigerians in 3 years that their lives will be better. Is it better? Are more people out of poverty? The figures the last time say that more Nigerians are in poverty.
So this country is no longer.
More Nigerians are hungry.
This country is no longer on the precipice of disaster. Because first of all, to save the people in the country, you have to save the country. What the president has done by his reforms is that he has saved the country. He has stopped the country from falling off over the cliff. Right? The economic reforms, like I said, is procedural. You like to say that the problems are immediate, the solutions are not immediate. Yes, but that's the case in everything in life. You know, the process of death could be an accident. The process of birth is usually 9 months. You know, so whatever is giving life to people, or whatever is giving life or is bringing succor or solutions to people, takes a bit of a time. It's a gestation period. It has to take time. People understand that. No matter how much you would want to hoodwink Nigerians to believe that solutions could be as immediate as problems that exist, people don't believe that.
Your party doesn't believe so.
Hold on, no.
That's what your party promised.
No, the promise of
the president
the promise of our party.
The promise was going to be corn, agbado, cassava. That's what your government promised, the cassava and the rest they're talking about during the election. You got into power. You didn't know that Buhari government had destroyed the economy. That's what you were saying. And so you're coming here to tell Nigerians that I'm the one hoodwinking. Your party was the one who hoodwinked Nigerians in getting their vote. Now you're giving excuses to perform. What do you say to Nigerians? Failure?
I said we have
lack of ideas.
I said we are performing, Sharon. I don't know why you are shouting, really. I said we are performing.
I'm just saying.
You are the only one repeating that we are not performing. I don't agree with you.
Nigerians are the ones who are judging.
I can say Nigerians do not agree with you as well.
Okay, we'll find out. On a final note, Mr. Ismaeel here, electronic vehicle is not as cheap
No, it's not.
But is it a good alternative, though, that you're looking at?
Yes, electronic, so I think electronic vehicle like Nigerian music industry is trying to spring up on its own. Government is basically saying, look, we need infrastructure, we need to coordinate it better. And that's what we are doing. We're trying to see whether how we can use the sunlight in places, especially in the north, where there is no gas reserves, where taking the infrastructure would be more capital intensive. If we can be able to do that and create an ecosystem around Keke. Let me give you a simple example. In Kano, for example, there are about 120,000 registered Keke Napeps. They take a trip of 1.8 million to 2.2 million people on a daily basis within Kano metropolis alone. If you pay 300 naira, and if you imagine how much they pay on PMS or diesel, whatever, if you bring in solar-powered tricycles, that we have abundance of sunlight in Kano. For example, in Sokoto, in Maiduguri, in all those places. If you have if you bring that and you bring the infrastructure and we collaborate within agencies that will be able to bring this power off grid, for example, it will significantly reduce the cost of transportation for people. Transportation is estimated to cost about 20 to 25% of household income across the world, across the country. If you reduce that to say 15% or less than 10%, you have more income for people to use for other livelihoods of theirs. So these are the things we are looking at. It's an energy mix situation. It's not one size fit all. It's an alternative to fuel. And this president is focused on it. He said, look, we have sunlight in abundance. We have wind in abundance. We have, we have gas in abundance. Why can't we all use it to lower transportation costs for people?
Mr. Ismaeel Ahmed is the chairman, Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative and EV, and he's a former APC youth leader. Thanks so much indeed for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you the very best in delivering the mandate.
You brought me here, you refused to allow me to break my fast, you keep shouting at me. But I tell you that we're on the right track.
It's better that I shout at you. You go out there and feel the pains from Nigeria.
I feel the pains all the time. I feel the pains all the time.
All right. So it's better you get shouted at than I get in this studio.
Thank you.
But I'm not even shouting at you. I'm just talking passionately. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Ahmed.